Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. And I'm Stephanie, and this is Salome, and we are both from Ocean Park, Hong Kong. But we are different from Michelle just now. She's from Young Explorer Club, and we are from the school program team, which provides school programs for local schools. So this is our topic, and we would like to start with a statement. Working in the field of education, we have always heard of this statement: education is the key to success. We all know that education is very powerful, but what makes it the key? How can we make it the key to success? Maybe making the lesson memorable, make the students being inspired or being connected to nature. In view of all the answers, we believe that fostering love of learning towards education is the key to success and has been the ultimate goal of education. So fostering love of learning can equip these future young leaders to stay hungry about knowledge so that they can have the motivation to learn more beyond the lesson, to find out more about knowledge by themselves. Having the core values of connecting people with nature, Ocean Park Hong Kong has provided education programs for students from kindergarten to secondary schools with a lot of different themes in order to explore and discover the nature with them through education programs. Reaching out to more than 1 million students since the early 1990s, we have received quite good feedbacks from the teachers. So now we would like to use 2 examples to illustrate how our core values are demonstrated through our education program. So the first of the program is Insightful Journey with Dolphins, and it is provided for primary school students, which is grade 1 to 6. And this program hopes to help the students to understand the importance of different senses and help them to develop the concern for nature. So how can we lead this program? We are designing the programs through the experimental learning framework. So they will first have an interactive dolphin demonstration with the dolphin trainers, as shown here. And then they will go inside the classroom to play a sensory game, which 4 sensory boxes are provided to the students. And each box represents 1 sense. So after playing this game, they will be able to understand that we humans cannot survive on only 1 sense. We have to have all the other senses to cooperate in order to survive. So same applies to dolphins. They can't only rely on the echolocation. They also have to rely on other senses in order to survive in this dark and huge ocean. After this program, teachers reflect to us that the students really love dolphins even more after the program. And they learned the importance of senses. And the other program that we would like to introduce is Ocean Delights. It's also for primary school students. The objective is to discover the interrelationship between marine animals. And they will also go through the exhibit walk in the Grand Aquarium, and then it will end in a classroom with this huge Jenga game. This Jenga provides a visual for the students to imagine what a food chain looks like. So you can take a look at this Jenga. It's actually a food chain from the top to the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry. So this game will end when the Jenga almost fall down. So the students can imagine if we eat all the marine animals inside the dolphins, or we throw some rubbish inside the dolphin to endanger them, then this food web, this food chain will collapse. So it really gives them a wow effect of how the importance of food chain. So now we know that the students have an enjoyable experience with us, and they remember what they have learned from the courses. But then, what? Can we call for actions and ask them to speak up for the nature in the future. We believe that relatedness is the key. The students cannot feel the relatedness from the education program to the reality. They don't think that they can contribute to the nature, to save the nature. That's why they don't speak up for nature. So there's a missing gap in the environmental education we found. And we believe that STEAM education can fill in the missing gap of environmental education. STEAM education includes the elements of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And it equips students with innovative mindset to encourage them to observe more about the surroundings, and also to be a maker, to try and error, and to develop problem-solving skills so that they can work on a problem and try to solve it, no matter it is successful or not. With this innovative mindset, students can turn thoughts into actions so that they can really act out, but not just have the thoughts in their head. With this in mind, we have added some STEAM elements inside our education program. So the first program with dolphins, we have included a section that will explore the application of the special senses of animals in the society, so that when students go back to home or go back to the school after the education program, they will pay more attention to the surroundings and find out that, oh, this related to this animal. So you can see that in this photo is actually the ultrasound picture of a baby. And they will know that the echolocation of dolphins can actually help to explore somewhere very dark and we can't use our eyes to see. They can locate something in the dark. And for the Ocean Delights program, we also include a section which will restore the Jenga with them. So how can we restore the Jenga? We'll ask them to suggest some conservation behaviors in daily life that they can do. So like consuming less seafood, or even consuming sustainable seafood, or pay attention to the nutrition facts behind the food to get to know that if the food contains any seafood inside or not. And we have a photo here showing that a 12-year-old girl designing a robot because she really loves the ocean. So she designs this robot to find out if there's rubbish inside the ocean. So we wish to use all of these added elements to encourage the students to step up one more step to help to do some conservation in their daily life and restore the ocean and pay more attention to the issues around them. So these are the 1-hour programs that we have in Ocean Park Hong Kong. But other than that, we still have other STEAM elements that added inside our program that I will now hand over to Salome to introduce.
Right, so Stephanie has just introduced us how we revamped our previous programs, like 1-hour programs, to make it, to add some more STEAM education elements to fill in the missing gap in our environmental education, to make the students more willing to act for the nature. So now I'm going to introduce a brand new program. So starting from this year, we have a course called Dream Starter Light. So for Dream Starter Light, it is a 12-session long program throughout the whole academic year, which the 12 sessions will last for 1 hour each. And we have developed 3 different themes. So the first one we see it is about water resources, about clean water around the world. And the second one is about life below water, so that is the marine animals. And the third one about terrestrial animals. So we actually want to achieve the 70 sustainable development goals by the UN. So after these 12 sessions, the students will have a dream, so we will help them to achieve their dream, to help with the environment, to design something. And this is the whole package, the whole Dream Starter package is available to the primary school students, that is from grade 1 to 6. So how do we design the 12 lessons? So we follow the design thinking framework. So that is shown here. So first we will introduce to the students about the animals, how lovely they are, how lovable they are, and so they will gain some connections with the environment and realize how amazing the nature is. And then we will do some research with them to define the problems now in the reality. So what is actually going on with their environment? And the next step, we will consolidate their ideas, like the problems and stuff, and then they will have to come up with some possible solutions to help. And then we will guide them and facilitate them to refine. And then at last, they will try to design a prototype, and then they will put it into test. So because it is just a Dream Starter Lite program, so it is only for primary school students, we may not be able to make the whole working project, so we will stick with the 4 main stages. So for the first 6 sessions, we emphasize on the relatedness, on the nature and the students. So we have some workshops, maybe we will go to their school, go to outreach, like an outreach thing. We go to their school and introduce the habitats of the animals, and even we will have some field trips, 3 field trips, to bring them over to Ocean Park and explore different parts of the exhibits and learn more about the animals. Like this, and we will of course do it with games and have a lot of fun, so they will learn by playing. And then the next step, we will spend 1 to 2 sessions to do some researches and maybe look at the newspaper clips or even some news articles and video clips to refine and to let them know what is going on with the animals and their environment. And then lastly, we will help maybe to encourage them to design something for the animals, maybe to promote their well-being. And so this is a guided step for the students. And so that's why we would really want to bring the STEAM elements into our program, so that throughout the 12 sessions, they will actually realize they can actually do something for the environment. Although they are maybe miles away from the Amazon rainforest or miles away from the ocean, they will realize they have the power, even though they are young. So apart from the Dream Starter Lite program I introduced, Ocean Park is putting a lot of efforts into promoting STEAM elements, STEAM education. For example, we have a STEAM student competition coming on next year, so this academic year, and our main topic is for innovation for animals. So for the students, for primary school students, grade 1 to 6, they will have to design an environmental enrichment for the red-handed tamarin. And for the secondary group, grade 7 to 12, they will have to design an enrichment for green sea turtle. And this is actually getting international because we are now securing funds for sponsoring the traveling of overseas students. So please take a picture of the QR code if you're interested, and we have also brought some posters if you're interested. Yeah, shown by Francis over here. Okay, and also we've got an inquiry email over there, right? So alongside with the competition, we are actually building an ambassador scheme for our local secondary school students. So they are free to enroll, and we will provide a step-to-step guide on how to develop or how to design an enrichment for the animals. So we will provide workshops for the about designing design thinking framework. And also we will bring them into Ocean Park and around city parks around Hong Kong to teach them what is bio design or eco design, or even bring them to Ocean Park to have some interviews with the trainers to understand the needs of the animals and how they can make the design more suitable for the animals. And then, of course, they will have the prototype making workshops where we are collaborating with our partners to provide some technical helps. And also, at last, we will have some trials, evaluation, and also revision. And furthermore, we had our first Ocean Park International STEAM Education Conference last year, and please stay tuned for the next STEAM conference. So that is all for our presentation. I hope you will learn more about how Ocean Park put effort into STEAM education, as well as bridging the STEAM education with the environmental education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephanie and Salome. Do we have time for questions? Open the floor for questions. Anyone? I have a question for you though. Do you always incorporate all the elements of STEAM into your programming? That's one. If you do you find it challenging to do so? Because out of all the elements, the 5 elements, are you able to incorporate all of them?
Thank you for your question. So, STEAM education, in our definition, I don't think we will include all the elements inside the program, because we are coordinating course for primary school students, which are quite young, grade 1 to 6. And if we include all of them inside the program, and it's quite short, only 1 hour, then we may not be able to bring conservation into the program. So I think STEAM education, in our definition, we would like to relate them to the reality, bring environmental education in reality, and to broaden their horizon, make them become a maker, to do something other than only receiving things. So that's our definition in Ocean Park.
Okay. There are no other questions. Thank you very much, ladies.